Good morning to everybody. So in this class we are going to start our discussion about database management system. So before actually getting into the syllabus of database management system and what is the content, what are all the contents that exist in database management system, we should know what is DBMS, that is database management system, and where can we apply that, or the other way, what are all the applications of database management system. After that we will see what are all the topics that we are going to discuss in database management system. Actually DBMS syllabus, it comprises of 5 units. The first unit deals about the introductory part of database management system and data models. The second unit deals about SQL queries. Third unit is about normalization. Fourth unit is about transaction and concurrency. Fifth unit is about deadlock and recovery system. This is what we are going to discuss in the subject of database management system. As I told you, we are going to discuss about the introductory part of DBMS in this class, followed by we will discuss about all the units in detail. So to get into the topic of DBMS, so we should know first what is database management system. So DBMS stands for database management system. When we say it is database management system, it actually comprises of two parts. One is database and the another one is management. So we should know what is database and how to manage this database. Once we know these two things, we should be able to design a database management system which is required for us. So to get into that, we should know about first what is database. In such case, we should know first what is data and what is information. So to know about data and information, we know already the definition for data. Data is nothing but raw fact, and information can be called as processed data. Data is a raw fact and information is processed data. For example, I give numbers like, so I am giving 5 numbers here and a string here. We do not know the details of this because when we see this, we do not able to identify the connection, interlink between this. It is all taken as individual numbers and we say this is a raw fact. So 89 is a number. We know 89 is a number and it is a whole number, and we know 78 is a number, Rahul as a string, but we do not know what it depicts. But when we process this and we say that this is something related to the data, information, where we call it as Rahul is the name of a student and he secures these marks in different subjects. So this is a interconnection between the data. So when we say it is information, we are processing it and we identify the relationship between this. So database is defined as the collection of interrelated data. Database is given as or defined as collection of interrelated data. Interrelated means we should know the relationship between the data that exists. Management system is nothing but a set of rules that are to be followed which helps us in creating, managing and editing these data. So these set of rules are followed to create, edit and process. These things can be done using the management system. So when we say it is database is nothing but collection of interrelated data, and the management is called as it can be defined as set of rules to be followed. A management system follows a set of rules to be followed while creating, editing and processing the database. So when we define DBMS, database is a collection of data and a set of programs that access the database. So it is, database can be defined as, that is database management system, or we call it as DBMS, can be defined as set of, or we call it as collection of interrelated data and the set of programs or the set of rules or procedures or whatever we call it as to create, process and edit the database. So this we can call it as a database management system. So nowadays we have number of applications for DBMS where everywhere we could see that, that is all your university data is an example of DBMS, and suppose we say airline reservation or any ticket reservation system or example for DBMS. So likewise there are number of applications that are available for a database management system. So when we say database management system, we call database management system as a collection of interrelated data and a set of procedures or rules that are followed to create, process and edit the database. The applications of database management system includes university database, airline reservation, ticket reservation, any ticket reservation system, any manufacturing, online retailers, everybody are using nowadays about this DBMS. But when we say that we are using this, initially there is no database management system. Instead of that, we have followed file management system where it is called as FMS. FMS stands for file management system. Suppose when we say file management system, the file system is created for a purpose and it is stored in a place. For example, when a student gets in, the details about that particular student is received in college office and it is maintained in a college office. Suppose if after joining in due course, if the address of the student changes, the change in address is to be reflected in the college office as well as the database which is maintained by the respective departments. In some cases, as there are two files, one in college office and one in department office, the change in address will be reflected only in the department office and it will not be reflected in the college office due to this data is not properly transferred to both the places or intimated to both the places. In such case, it leads to the concept of data inconsistency. This inconsistency happens because of data redundancy. Redundancy is nothing but multiple copies of data. So when we say we are going for a file management system, there is a possibility that it can go for maintaining the files in a different place, the same file in a different place. And when more than one is trying to access the same file, more than one person wants to access the same file, sometimes it is not possible to access, and even though it permits, the person who changes and saves as the last one will be permitted to make his own changes in the respective database. All other changes will not get reflected in such cases and there will not be security for that database. So considering these are all the disadvantages of creating a file system. To overcome all these disadvantages, they have gone for database management system, and we will see what are the advantages of using it. So first we will see the disadvantages one by one. As I told you, the disadvantages of file system may be data redundancy and inconsistency. Inconsistency is due to redundancy and difficulty in accessing data. This is the second problem, that is difficulty in accessing data. The third one is data isolation and we have integrity problems, atomicity, concurrent access by multiple users, and the last one is security. All these are all considered to be the disadvantages of file management system. So when we say data redundancy, multiple copies are created in different places and the updates are done either in any one of the files but not in both. In that case, it leads to the point of inconsistency. Difficulty in accessing data in some cases, as the file is maintained by only one person. If suppose the file is maintained by only one person, the accessing permission will not be given to everybody. So in such case, even to view the data, we are not given with the permission. So in such cases, it is very difficult to access that particular data. And when we say we have multiple copies of files, not only the updates, but when we modify some of the contents, that modifications will not be done in any file. All the files will be neglecting it. So in such cases, we get data isolation and integrity. And atomicity is one. Suppose there is an example that I have to transfer an amount of 500 from one account to the another account. If any problem occurs in between, that is, I have deducted an amount of rupees 500 from account 1, and before adding it to account 2, if there is a system problem or any other network error, because of that, if the process cancels, this 500 will not be there in account 1 and it will not be added in account 2. So in such case, that 500 will be a very big question mark for us. So that leads to the concept of atomicity. So all or none, meaning which either everything is to be stored or nothing is to be stored, but our file system doesn't support it. So because of that case, we get this atomicity problem. And concurrent access by multiple users, when at the same time more than one user is accessing a particular file, we get an issue. And security is again, the accessing permission will not be given due to this reason. So having all these as the drawbacks, we have gone for database management system, where all these drawbacks are addressed by database management system and we get everything as a positive content. That is, advantages of DBMS includes data independency. So advantages of DBMS includes data independency, meaning which the data which we give in the database are independent, efficient data access. Whenever we want to access a particular data, it is easy for us to access it. And data integrity and security, we have more secure data in case of database management system, as the permission is given to everybody to view. If suppose if it is needed, we give the permission everybody to view, but not to modify any other content or to add or delete any other content. And concurrent access, if suppose more than one user wants to access it, they can access. And the last one is crash recovery. Suppose if any problem occurs, at that case, this crash recovery system will recover the system to its earlier position. As I told you in the previous case, if suppose an amount of rupees 500 is deducted from one account, that is account A, and it needs to be transferred to account B, where if there is any issue, it will not be transferred properly. So if the crash recovery system is available, it identifies or encounters that there is a crash, and that crash is recovered by the system and the account is given back to its original value. So the 500 will be added in account 1 at least, so that if it is not added in account 2, that will be verified and that gets ordered automatically in case of crash recovery. So these are all the things which are considered to be the advantages of DBMS, and because of all these reasons, we are going for database management system. To overcome all these drawbacks alone, we have gone for DBMS. Now we have number of relational database management system and some other database management systems are also available, where we can perform all our operations in a very efficient manner. Thank you.